Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Chris Davis, and today we are going to do a movie review of The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Now guys, I apologize for this review coming out so late. Like, the movie's been out for like almost a month, and here's the thing. I saw an early screening of it and I wanted to do a review as soon as I saw the movie, the early screening, but I was thinking I had to do a spoiler-free review, and I didn't really know how to tell how great the film was without like giving anything away. And this movie's so great, I wanted to do a really good job with the movie review. I really wanted to do an excellent job. I just didn't want to just do whatever. So I want to take some time to think about, like, script it, and like what my talking points were going to be. So this is a really good film. It's, with all the Hunger Game films, this is tied with Catching Fire. I don't know which one is better, this one or Catching Fire, but this film is that good. So definitely up there with Catching Fire. I think the best Hunger Games film. I think we can all agree to that. But here we go. I can't believe I'm actually doing this, but spoiler warning. If you have not seen this film, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, please click off this video. If you don't care for spoilers, or if you've already seen the film, which you should have, please continue to keep watching. With that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Okay, so there's so many reasons why I like this film. The characters and then the plot. So characters, Cornelius Snow, he's played by Tom Blythe. Tom Blythe does an excellent job of portraying Cornelius Snow. With this character, we see his backstory, and really how this film focuses on is how Cornelius Snow gets on the path to becoming President Snow, the guy we see in the original Hunger Game films. Rachel Zegler as Lucy Gray. Lucy Gray was an amazing character in this film, especially her chemistry with Cornelius Snow and being a lover to him. And Rachel Zegler did a great job playing Lucy Gray with the singing and the guitar playing. Awesome job. My only complaint is the country accent was really strong. Maybe could have toned it down some, but other than that, really good. Now, is Lucy Gray as captivating as Katniss Everdeen? I want to say no. What made Lucy Gray captivating in this movie is when she was offered as this tribute, she puts a snake in the mayor's daughter's back, and she does that because the mayor's daughter didn't like her, and so somehow she was able to have Lucy Gray be the tribute. But then she does something. She says something against the Capitol officers. They assault her, and immediately the audience is captivated by her, and they're also captivated by her singing. So that's what made Lucy Gray really captivating to the audience. But to me, I think Katniss Everdeen is more captivating than Lucy Gray, because how Katniss Everdeen, how she got the audience's attention is, first, her sister was the tribute in the first film, but Katniss was not going to let her sister go to an arena and just die. She was going to be her big sister and protect her little sister, so she offered herself as tribute in order to protect her, and she was willing to go out in that arena and die. And doing something like that is definitely going to make Katniss more captivating than Lucy Gray. Lucy Gray was very captivating, not just with her singing, but like I said, what she did in the beginning when she like said some very bad things. Well, said some very bad but true things about the Capitol officers, basically showing the world that she wasn't afraid. And that was like very that was very captivating. But Katniss Everdeen was more captivating because she was sacrificing herself to protect someone else. But Lucy Gray, phenomenal character in this movie. Next character I really liked was Dr. Volumna, who's played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis does a great job of playing these ruthless pragmatist characters. Like, she played it in the ABC drama How to Get Away with Murder, and the DCEU she plays Amanda Waller. She does a great job playing these ruthless pragmatist characters. Peter Dinklage, he plays Professor Highbottom. Professor Highbottom is an adversary to Cornelius Snow. He's there to basically get in the way of Cornelius accomplishing his goals. Like, he's an adversary. He does not like the Snow family at all. And the next character that's really prominently in this film is Sejanus Plinth. To me, he's the least, I like him the least out of everybody, because he's also a foil to Cornelius Snow reaching his goal, but he's not an adversary. With this character, he's morally conflicted. In his whole backstory, it's about his family is from the districts. But like, when the districts rebelled against the Capitol, his family profited off the war, and so his family, even though they're from the districts, they're not treated like the district people are, like second-class citizens. They're treated like Capitol royalty because they're super wealthy. And Sejanus Plinth is conflicted because he's from the districts, but he's not being treated like they are. He gets special treatment because of his family's wealth and what he wants to do, if not right in the Hunger Games, to end the cruelty and the atrocity and to alleviate the district's pain. He wants to make their lives as easy as he possibly can, which is at this point impossible to do because of the districts rebelling against the Capitol. Eventually that gets Sejanus Plinth killed, but Cornelius Snow has to constantly stick his neck out for this person, and it's just like Sejanus Plinth is just taking him for granted. And I'll talk more about that, but that's why I don't like that character as much. And if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. Again, the other things I really liked about this film is the plot, and the plot is what this film really shows is how Cornelius Snow, how he gets on the path of becoming that tyrant we see in the Hunger Games and the first 4 films. That's what this film shows us. We see Cornelius's backstory, how his family was wealthy, but when the districts, when they rebelled and they went to war with the Capitol, and even though the Capitol won, his parents died, and Cornelius was living with his cousin and his grandmother, and they were barely making ends meet, and he had a way to get the wealth, but in order for him to get that wealth, he had to graduate with the highest grades in the Capitol, but an adversary of his, Professor Highbottom, which doesn't like the Snow family, as I mentioned earlier, he throws a wrench in everything. Basically, the issue is no one's watching the Hunger Games. Viewership is down. Find a way to make the Hunger Games more engaging, and also you have to coach a tribute, and whoever's tribute wins gets this special wealthy position. And so with the Hunger Games, we see the Hunger Games in its early stages before it became the audience engaging tribute voting spectacle we see in the original Hunger Games. This is the Hunger Games in its early stages when they're trying to figure everything out. Now, with Professor Highbottom, with him making these changes, saying, hey, your tribute has to win, this forces Cornelius Snow to go on that path of becoming like the ruthless president that we know in the original Hunger Games, because he has to cheat in order to make his tribute win. If he just leaves it to her own ability, she's not going to survive. Lucy Gray is not the strongest or the fastest. Basically, if he leaves it up to her and he doesn't do any kind of intervention, she's going to die. And we could say honestly the truth, she would have probably died in the first day had it not been for Cornelius. But Cornelius needs to win this competition, get his family out of poverty, make them wealthy so they're not poor anymore. Other obstacles he has to face other than Professor Highbottom and winning this competition. Sejanus Plinth, as I mentioned, the character is spoiled, naive, and Cornelius has to stick out his neck more than once in order to save him. When they're doing the Hunger Games, Sejanus Plinth's tribute, he dies, and he foolishly goes into the arena and tries to check on him he can do something about it. And Dr. Volumna basically tells Cornelius, listen, you need to save Sejanus Plinth. If he dies, his family won't donate money to the capital, academy or institutions anymore. If you do this for me, I'll put in a word for you to get that special position that will get your family out of poverty. So he basically has no choice but to stick his neck out and stick his neck out in order to save Sejanus Plinth. Because if he doesn't, if he lets him die, then he's not going to get this special position. And so he suffers a huge laceration. He has to get stitches. This is Cornelius, and he winds up also killing one of the tributes in order to save Sejanus Plinth. So you see how much of a burden Sejanus Plinth is, how worrisome and what a burden he is. And later on, when his tribute wins the Hunger Games and Professor Highbottom learns that he cheats and he bans Cornelius to work in the districts as a capital officer, Sejanus Plinth is there with him, not because he was banned or anything. It's just he's a morally conflicted character. He's putting these self-imposed punishments on himself because he feels bad because he's from the districts, but he's not treated badly like everyone else. And Cornelius has to keep sticking out his neck to save him. And it gets bothersome. He keeps telling him, well, use your family's wealth to make people's lives better. Quit putting yourself in danger and forcing me to save you just so you can feel better about yourself. Do something else that will make the district's lives better. You're not going to do that. You're not going to be able to do that if you're dead. But he constantly puts himself back in the same situation over and over, and Cornelius has had enough. He's like, I'm not about to die for this guy. His family can save him, but there's no one who can protect me if I get caught with these people, with these other district people who are trying to rebel against the capital. So he sets up Sejanus Plinth to get hung, and that does cause a rift with him and Lucy Gray. But when you watch this film, you can't help but feel sympathy for Cornelius, because he's really doing all this so he can get his family out of poverty and so they can get their wealth back. But that causes him to make some very morally bad decisions. It's ends justifies the means kind of thing. Like, I have to save my family, but way he kind of goes about it, like it's all wrong, and like the whole situation is messed up. Like, kids fighting in the arena, killing each other for people's entertainment. It's all messed up. They even amped up the cruelty in this film by having an autistic person in the arena fighting, which, like, how cool can you get? Like, that person shouldn't have even been at tribute. They should have honestly picked someone else as soon as her name was called on. But this was a really good movie. Like, Cornelius, eventually he gets back into the Capitol, and he kills Professor Highbottom by having him poisoned. But before he does, we know why Professor Highbottom was against Cornelius Snow. He didn't want the Hunger Games to continue anymore. He thought it was atrocious, the games. He was trying to find a way to end it, but he couldn't end it. And so he even says that generations of kids' bloods are going to be on my hands now. Then Cornelius kills him, like, with poison that Professor Highbottom drinks, and he's dead. And then Dr. Volumna and Cornelius, they're together, and Dr. Volumna praises him for setting up Sejanus Plinth to get killed, and she says that she's gonna teach him, and he'll continue the games long after she's gone. And that's like where, like, the film really ends. One thing I do want to mention that I mentioned earlier, the relationship between Lucy Gray and Cornelius. Like, before she wins the Hunger Games, he wants her to win just to save his family, and that's still the main reason why he wants her to win. But he does develop a caring relationship for her. He eventually does want to, he doesn't want to see her harmed. When he's banished from the districts, when he's banished from the capital and he's working in the districts, he develops a romantic relationship with her. But the relationship is broken when she figures out that he killed Sejanus Plinth and he wasn't honest about it. So that's how that relationship ended. But like, the chemistry between Lucy Gray and Cornelius, it was like really awesome. How they developed this relationship of they just needed each other. She needed to survive, he needed the wealth, but then they developed a fondness of each other, and then later on, like, a romantic relationship. I thought that was really awesome. So that's all we have for today. If you liked what I had to share, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with all your friends, and let me know what you thought of the film in the comments section below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know your thoughts. That being said, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Later.